There are new developments in a same-sex marriage battle in Tennessee. Now, we've told you before, 4 gay couples, including one from Memphis, have filed a federal lawsuit to get Tennessee to recognize their marriages.
And now they want immediate protection for their families until a decision is made. And here to explain all this and the impact it could have here is family law attorney Miles Mason. Welcome. Now, one of the couples is expecting a child, and that's one of the reasons for the request for immediacy, right?
Right, but it's also just a straight-up legal maneuver to try to get some sort of action to be made immediately, because the allegations, they're immediate and irreparable harm that's taking place now because of the Tennessee Constitution denying recognition of same-sex marriage.
Now, Miles, these couples also say that they need protection. If they're not successful with this, what type of protection or what type of things do they feel they could lose, perhaps?
Well, there's very basics. For example, with the child not being able to have both parents listed on the birth certificate.
Gotcha.
And that causes a number of problems. As any parent knows, we show up for a lot of times for schools, getting a passport. There's a lot of things that flow from it that we just take for granted. Other things such as health insurance. How do you, if one of the non-biological parent seeks to is the source of the health insurance, but they don't recognize the marriage in Tennessee for health insurance purposes, that's a very basic need that child's going to have for private health insurance that a traditional marriage couple would have.
So right now, as I understand it, correct me if I'm wrong, in states that recognize same-sex marriage, all state rights and federal rights are covered. In Tennessee, which doesn't, the federal right, like income tax and that sort of thing,
right,
you get those, but you don't get some others.
Right, and that's the core issue that we have here, because in the big picture you have equal protection rights.
Right.
How are people that are similarly situated treated differently? And that's been determined at the federal level from that Windsor case that just got determined. At the state level, the state of Tennessee is denying those benefits and those rights to same-sex marriages on a daily basis. So that's the impact that we have here. And then plus, of course, one of the couples, or several of the couples, are coming from other states where they do have recognized marriages and are saying, well, we want those same rights here, and that's being denied.
So, Miles, also, what is the bigger picture here? Is it to eventually get a state like Tennessee to say, we recognize, or it recognizes same-sex marriage, or what?
Right. The big picture is this. It's a conflict between law and politics. Tennessee, with this lawsuit, and this is a very important lawsuit for a lot of reasons, this could be the leading case for a southern state, a conservative southern state, a very conservative southern state. And so Tennessee is not going to change the law by the state legislature. We know that. So it's going to have to be done by court decision. And the question is the team that's been assembled to litigate this, these 4 lawyers, these 4 firms, and these couples, are they going to change the law in Tennessee? But more importantly, is that going to be the first state in the conservative South?
Start the dominoes.
No, the dominoes have already been started. There's 16 states that recognized same-sex marriage.
But not, as you mentioned, a conservative southern state, so it'll speed up the dominoes. What's the timeline? When should this be expected to be heard?
The timeline is going to be determined by the federal judge in Nashville. And that's what this injunction is designed to do, is to speed up that timeline, to force some sort of decision. Ultimately, it's going to go through the appellate process long-term. Exactly how fast that'll take is going to be determined by the federal judges and those dockets.
Okay. We know you'll keep an eye on it for us, so that we'll be in the know.
Miles, thank you.
Thank you.
Here's where to catch Miles and his group of attorneys.
We'll be right back.